Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. And today, you guys see me with some cereal. You know who loves cereal? The homie John Riggs. So on today's episode, I have a live podcast with the Hair of the Dog podcast, and it was at the Midwest Gaming Classic. So if you guys are ready for this adventure, sit back with your boy. Let me know in the comments what you like about this video. It really talks about John Riggs and how to grow your own YouTube channel and how to be very successful. So if you guys are ready, let's get it.
Introduction, but we're going to give him one anyways. We have Mr. John Riggs. You know him.
Oh my goodness. What is this nonsense?
Yeah. See, people know you here. Your first time in Milwaukee,
My
right?
first time in Milwaukee, my first time in Wisconsin, my first time at Midwest Gaming Classic. I was intended to be here last year, April of 2020. We all know what happened there. Pushed.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware.
Canceled.
Welcome to today.
And then it got pushed to today. So I kind of upheld my obligations and wanted to check it out. And I did a quick survey on even my YouTube channel and my social media saying, hey, if I could attend any convention in the United States of America, literally any of them, where should I go? And popular vote was Midwest Gaming Classic. So thank you for having me out here.
So the people did not let you down.
They didn't let me down, man. I've had cheese curds 3 times.
There's more time.
I lost count of how many IPAs I had, and trust me, I come from the Pacific Northwest, where in my town, Yakima Valley, we host. You can look it up on Google. We have 75% of the United States hops used for beers in the U.S. If you have a beer anywhere in the U.S., there is a 3 out of 4 chance that those hops came from my backyard.
My God.
So we love our beer here, but Milwaukee does beer good. That's no doubt about it.
We do.
Yeah, I'm literally drinking a cider right now. Like, I had way too many IPAs so far. I know. Come on now. So this cider is my appetizer for the true beer later on.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Let's call it that.
Well, welcome to the podcast. Before we get to the topic at hand, who is this fine fellow next to me?
Hi everybody, I'm Josh.
Yeah.
Hey,
Member
Josh.
of this Dogcast, and
Yeah.
happy to be here. Mr. Riggy Smalls and my boy Tom.
Yes. My name's Tom Wegner. I'm a host at Hair of the Dogcast, Milwaukee's podcast about video games and beer.
Exclusive.
Beer and video games. Honored to have you here, John.
Yep. And I've been on your channel before.
You
but
have.
It was just it was during the pandemic, so it was all through Zoom and different windows. That, they looked like the intro of the Muppet Show and all that.
Yes, I believe Tiger King was hot at the time, so we talked a lot about that.
And now Tiger King 2 will be hot pretty soon, so we'll see how that goes.
That's right. So for this panel, John, I was thinking, I'm a YouTube noob.
Okay.
And, I feel like I'm talking to YouTube royalty right now. A man that
You've
has
never seen my channel, okay.
tens, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and I kind of thought maybe there are other people listening and eating, watching us right now.
Yeah. No, they're just eating. They're forced to listen to us speak right now.
Yes,
So.
thank you, you very kind
choice.
soul.
Yeah, I know. It's like, all right, we got one. We got Kip. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So I thought there's got to be other people out there who
Sure.
are curious of either starting a YouTube channel or already have one and are curious for getting some tips and tricks about how to take them to the next level.
Sure.
And I think you've been at it long enough. You're the guy I wanted to be the sounding board.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
yeah. So first question, for somebody who does not have a YouTube channel, can you tell us maybe what is the 1 or 2 things that are a must that they should do ahead of time or starting out?
Like if you're just starting and you want to start a YouTube channel,
You're wanting to start a YouTube channel.
the beautiful thing is YouTube is free, and anybody can do it. Anybody can sign on. Anybody can have an account. You can sign on and create a secondary account. You can have 3 or 4 accounts on the same email. So if you want to do a video game one, you want to do a beer review one, you want to do a cereal review one, you can. It's fine. I would say the first thing to do is a little bit of research, not like in-depth research, but look at other channels and see what they're doing. See what's making them successful, and be like, well, I can do that. Good, do that.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Or it's all about the fun. It's all about the connection. It's all about the networking. So it's just like, don't make it into when it starts feeling like a job, then you take it too seriously. You know what I mean? So it's like, especially if you want to start a channel, let's say a retro gaming channel, that's perfect for Midwest Gaming Classic. What I would do is I would do some research first. Find all the retro gaming channels you can find, and look at their videos and see what's popular that they've done. You can categorize videos by
By views.
by views. and see what's popular. But see what's popular in the last couple of years, because sometimes it's like, oh, this channel, this video has 1 million views, but it's also been uploaded. It was uploaded 10 years ago. Like, what did they do recently? And you can find some trends that way, and not to emulate them, not to copy them, but you'll get a nice trend, a nice feel of like, oh, these types of videos do successful. So you can do that with your own twist, with your own personality.
Yeah, and just to go back a little bit further, for you personally, what was the impetus of you getting into YouTube initially?
Oh, it was peer pressure. It was.
it?
Yeah. I had a friend, this dates back to 2006, when I had a coworker who happened to do YouTube also. And it was before I was like, you do YouTube on purpose? I never thought about doing YouTube for shows. It's like I always looked up YouTube for like old videos from Headbangers Ball back in the day. I looked up old wrestling clips and stuff like that. I never thought about somebody having their own show, for instance, but he did. And this was back in 2006, and he had like a couple 100,000 subscribers. Now he's at he's like almost like the 10 million mark now.
Oh my god!
Because he's kept it up this whole time. I never thought about that. He was the first guy I ever knew who quit his job because he made so much money on YouTube that he could quit his job. I was like, you make money from this? Really? Interesting. And I kind of dropped it at that.
Yeah.
And then it was later on when I was like, okay, cool. I had a friend along the way who was like, and then I had another friend, one of my best friends in high school, who was the first person I ever heard of who canceled his cable subscription because he watched YouTube. He had his subscribers. I was like, so you literally just have subscribers and you see what videos they posted recently and watch those? He's like, well, yeah, and it's free. And so I don't need cable anymore. I was like, interesting. I never thought, I was trying to get into the mindset of how one does that. I've never thought of that.
And how long ago was this?
This probably would have been 2000, let's call it, probably 2008, 2009. And then he was like, dude, you should have a YouTube channel. You have all these retro games. You like to talk. You're a radio DJ, so you're used to talking to yourself all the time anyway.
Right.
You should. And I was like, but I still wasn't in that mindset of like, oh, I should do this for YouTube because I didn't watch YouTube like that.
Sure.
But then every time I saw him, he was like, dude, you gotta have a YouTube channel. Gotta have a YouTube channel. Here's this angry video game nerd guy, and I was like, but he's a character. I want to see a real person. There were some other real people out there. John Lester's one of them. Gamester 81. He was a huge influence.
John.
And then he's around here somewhere. I bet his name will kind of shine the backlight here.
You have to say it 3 times.
I think so. Yeah. Turn around and. But it wasn't until I met Jason, Metal Jesus Rocks, and then he was on. We're both Pacific Northwest guys, so we go to the same conventions.
Practically neighbors.
Well, kind of.
We know a little bit of geography.
We're like 2 hours away from each other, and we have a Cascade Mountain Range Snoqualmie Pass to cross every time, so not as convenient.
Right. When you were starting out, were there any other topics or I guess concepts for a channel other than video games that you were considering?
Not at all. I mean, when I first started my channel, the first thing I did was I just started just uploading videos, and I've had my own personal channel since, probably over 10 years.
Sure.
That I didn't really take seriously. It was more of I'm going to upload a video because it's free, and then I can send that video link to my mom, for instance, when we lived out of town. It's like, oh, here's the cute thing that my kids did.
Right.
In lieu of uploading a video. I could do that, send her the link, whatever. So my very first YouTube video is probably, let's see, if my oldest is 16, probably would have been 14 years ago. Imagine if I would have stuck with it 14 years ago. But it was just more of a practice, and then later on I was like, okay, I'm going to practice video editing, and I'll post it on the other channel,
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started the one that I currently use, where I'm posting all my videos. At first, it was Metal Jesus who was like, he invited me on his channel, and we hung out for a little bit. He's like, oh, you've got to come on my channel and talk about Famicom games, Japanese imports, other stuff, Nintendo. John Hancock was the Genesis guy, but I was the Nintendo guy. Perfect, I could do that.
Right.
And then he was just like, dude, you could start your own channel. So I did.
Do you wear a hat that says Nintendo?
I don't.
Ever?
No.
Okay. All right.
I do have a hat that says Nintendo in katakana, like the Japanese letters.
Okay.
No, that's not even katakana. It's like it might be hiragana, kanji, I think.
Nice.
From the actual old school Nintendo, good heaven luck, whatever.
Sure.
Whatever that thing is, which came from the Nintendo store.
Leave luck to heaven.
I think it was leave luck to heaven. I think.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until Metal Jesus said, hey, you should start your own channel, and I didn't know what to do. I could talk about video games, sure, but my first channel, which is my channel name has changed along the years too. Where at first it was literally just called Rigstalgic. Because I was like, I'm going to talk about everything from my youth, because I'm super nostalgic about everything. So it was about old video games, old breakfast cereal that I grew up with.
I dig it.
One of the first videos I ever did was reviewing my Speak and Spell collection, because I have Speak and Spell, Speak and Math, You know, those other,
Oh, yeah.
those Tiger handheld, you know.
I smell tiger.
Exactly, yeah. Now spell, you know. So I
absolutely.
did those, but then I noticed that more views were coming in on the retro gaming. So then
Okay.
I just kind of stuck with retro gaming.
It's kind of nice that you had the support structure there of like Jason and Metal G.
Yeah, and he helped a lot too. He would give me little tips every once in a while too. You know, like he would say things like, no matter what you do, just post one video a week. It can be literally anything, but YouTube love consistency. So be consistent on whatever you do. It's the same reason, you know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, you knew when your favorite TV show came on because it's that appointment listening. So you get used to that appointment listening. It's like, oh, good, there's going to be another video coming up or something, and YouTube promotes that.
Right. TGIF.
Yes.
Was a banger.
There you go.
What if you could go back and tell yourself now what you know now with YouTube, and just go back? What is like one thing you would tell yourself starting out that you know now that you would?
Oh, sure. It would be to find your niche quicker. Because
Okay.
at first I would just make videos that I thought were cool, post them online, and not care. You know, it's like the video's out there, whatever. Time to move on. But when you really look at the analytics on the side of things, again, you can see what videos are doing better, or some videos maybe not get as many views, but they get longer watch time. And in the world of YouTube, retention is literally everything. You know, like if you have someone who's watching your video, they click on your video, and they watch it longer, then YouTube says, oh, this person's doing something right, because no one's just popping. I mean, if you click on someone's video and watch it for 2 seconds and leave, that's one view, which doesn't do you a whole lot of good. I mean, you
Sure.
need someone to watch, you know, hopefully longer, and then hopefully at the end of the video, they'll click on another one of your videos and go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
So I would have found my niche quicker, because before I was doing video game reviews, breakfast cereal reviews, you know, just talk about whatever was fun, you know. And I'll do a video of, you know, this when I get back and everything.
So basically, pick a lane and stay in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Like find out what you want to do, and you know, hyper focus on that. And then later on, you know, if I wanted to start, let's say I love doing breakfast cereal. It's kind of my thing. I wrote a book
I've
about
heard.
it, about cereal from the 80s and 90s. Maybe that should be a secondary YouTube channel. I could open up a second YouTube channel and just do a cereal channel.
Okay.
But that might be down the road.
Speaking of the real Ghostbusters cereal, good or bad?
The real Ghostbusters cereal, or
Yeah.
the one, not the one that just came out?
Not the one that came out. The one in the 80s.
The one in the 80s. I thought it was good.
Okay.
The box was better than the cereal, but you know, it was good. I mean, I'm a Ghostbusters fan, not a fanatic. You know, I don't dress up, and I don't think it's a religion. Or
I know.
anything.
I know.
Is that?
Ghostbusters fan.
I was waiting for the reaction there.
So real cereal.
Right.
Ninja Turtle cereal with,
Oh, man.
with the webs or the nets.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
basically it was almost like a sweetly frosted Chex with the marshmallows in it. It was so good. It is not good now. I tried it. I had a box that I opened up,
It
and
doesn't hold up.
It does not. The marshmallows more than anything. I probably tried 5 25-year-old breakfast cereals, and that was the worst of all of them because of the marshmallows.
So about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I tried Honey Chex Mix,
Okay.
and my friend gave me a bag of random marshmallows.
Yeah, you
Amish,
can just get cereal marshmallows.
And that was the closest
Why?
rendition I can get to
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I know.
There's
There's
no
honey nut Chex. There's a frosted Chex, which is pretty good too. There's a vanilla life cereal, but it's not the same texture as Chex.
Yeah.
So are you still? Did you say you're still doing the cereal videos?
Not as much
on a-
anymore. I mean,
okay.
more so than anymore now. It's more of just an Instagram thing.
Sure.
I might have a random box in the background because I'm a cereal collector too. So I have an old box
In
of
more
cereal.
ways than one, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm just more of the like, this is who I am. I might have the old box of cereal in the background of my videos,
Gotcha.
and that's when someone else in the comments might say, "Oh my God, I used to love Batman cereal." And you're like, "Oh great," you know, like that one's kind of new, but
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Favorite cereal you can't get anymore.
Oh,
What is it?
you know, my go-to it changes every day. Just like when someone says, "What's your favorite game of all time?" My go-to answer is ice cream cone cereal from 1980. I think it was like 1988 or something like that. It was like little puffballs, and it came with like graham cones. It was super good.
Gonna have to find some of those. I bet they held up great.
No, probably not. No, that's one box I don't even have it right now. But they did try to bring it back in the early 2000s, but again, it wasn't the same. So it's sometimes it's like, oh, you got to bring the cereal back. Don't bring it back, because whenever they do, it's not
the same.
It's the same reason why Count Chocula
Yeah, I was
today
gonna
doesn't
say
taste like
that.
Count Chocula in the 80s.
All of
It's
us
horrible.
make it very
It's an
Yeah.
abomination.
It is.
Yes.
Cookie Crisp, same way too. Like growing up, it was just better. And I know taste buds mature as you get older. But
It's
once
not the same.
Once Ralston sold their properties to General Mills, then that's when all the recipes changed, and they kind of went away from the oat recipe to the corn recipe. It's just a cheaper ingredient. And these things happen.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's okay if you can buy cereal from overseas, like imported. Some of those overseas cereals taste like cereals from like the 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly like, I have friends in different countries, and we'll
Sure.
we'll work on a cereal trade. So there's sometimes, and people are super excited about it too. Like there's sometimes, like in Australia, for instance, they're like, man, I've never had Captain Crunch. I've never had Fruity Pebbles. So I'm sending $2 boxes of cereal for $80 shipping, But in return, I'll get something pretty cool too. So it works out all right.
More views. Yeah.
It's a
Watch my
lifestyle, it's a
channel.
culture.
It really is. I mean, it's the same thing no matter what you. I mean, if you're a PS3 collector, you got to go for that full global set. You got to have friends in Brazil because there's like some Brazilian exclusives.
All right.
So it's just the way it works.
So we're going back in time. We have young scrappy John Riggs starts his YouTube channel.
Young.
Scrappy.
Scrappy.
Young and scrappy.
It's young and.
I'll take it. I mean, it was like what I was. Yeah, I was mid-30s. So okay.
Just go with it.
Okay.
It's been a long day.
Fair enough.
All right, and you're getting consistent subscriptions throughout the time, or did it take a while to? Did you ever find a time where you plateaued?
Oh yeah, twice.
You plateaued twice.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And guess your ranking videos?
That helped me not plateau.
What?
It did.
Yeah. What would be tips if somebody who is already established and they have a couple thousand or a couple hundred?
Yeah, it's
or
just
like two like
it's
us.
just it's the dip your toe in the water campaign. Just try something new, see if it works.
Okay. Yeah.
No big deal. So for the longest time, I would talk about homebrews. I'm a huge homebrew fanatic.
Yeah. Those are great videos.
I would talk. I mean, and it. Oftentimes, like I would do like reviews because sometimes after a while, companies reach out to you saying, "Hey, would you like to review our controller, our headphones, our indie game on the Switch that we'll send you a free code for and stuff like that?" So I would do any of those because it's all free content. I mean, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, when you review a product, you're doing the company more favor than your own channel. So they're benefiting. They're the ones who are making money from it, and you got the pair of headphones for free, which is fine.
Right.
But it does, again, the company more value. And search, I mean, if people are searching for it, that's fine, but you want people to have your videos show up on their homepage.
Okay.
More than anything. Because I think it's something like 75% of views on YouTube come from the homepage, not from subscriptions, not from search. It's just like when they first see YouTube, oh, this is a new video, click. So that's when you want to have that thumbnail and headline so engaging, hopefully.
Interesting.
But for a while there, I was doing that, and then when I started doing, for a while there, I was doing my tutorials on how to hack video games, and I saw some great traction there, which was fine. And then that's when I started like, well, I'm waiting for another something to do between my tutorial videos. I'm always cleaning games. I'm always finding games at yard sales and stuff. Yeah. Sometimes they don't work, so I'll bust out my soldering iron. It's something I just kind of did behind the scenes. Right. But I was like, oh, I should record this and see what happens. So that's when I started the open cart surgery stuff. And then I saw a bunch of growth from that.
Okay.
And I saw a bunch of growth from that for maybe a couple of years, and then
was
that's
that the first jump starts or the first?
Yes, that was the first
on plateau.
That was kind of the first major plateau was the open cart surgery stuff. Because before it was like a little bit here, a little bit there. I would get. I mean, believe it or not, being on Metal Jesus channel does not guarantee views or subscribers or anything.
What?
I don't see a spike. Barely ever at all anytime on this channel. It just happens.
Now I don't feel bad. He never answers my emails. Take that.
He's very. I have seen him check his emails, and he gets 1,000 a day. I promise. But he does check all of his emails. But it wasn't until I started going to conventions like this, conventions like Portland and other ones. The number two compliments I would get are, I like it when you try to fix broken video games, and I like it when you have your kids on your channel. But first was broken video games thing. Perfect, open cart surgery, great. That's what the people want. I will feed them what they want. So most of my channel was just that, and it didn't grow because it was the same audience. Okay. So because that's, I mean, not just because
diversify.
In the world of YouTube, there's like gaming, which is a huge span, and then there's like, after you get through all the Minecraft and Fortnite and Call of Duty and all that, a very small sliver that's retro gaming, and then an even further sliver is like preservation of retro gaming, I guess. I mean, it's almost nothing. So yes, it did well, but it was the same views, the same comments, the same everything. I couldn't grow because there's nowhere to grow when you're feeding the same audience.
Gotcha.
It's great. It's super serving the audience, which is fine, but then I'm not able to grow from there, and that's when I started. I was like, you know what, I have all the black box NES games. I'll rank those. I've seen other, and that's what it came down to. I saw other people ranking the Zelda games, the Mario games. It literally came down to one person who ranked every Animal Crossing character. which was like 150 of them. But he was like, I'm gonna rank every Animal Crossing character. It was literally just how sitting on the couch, and he looked at the picture. He's like, oh yeah, I kind of like that guy. I'll give him a B. And the next day I was like, oh yeah, she's silly, but she's kind of a bitch. I'll give her a C. Whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And it was like a 22-minute video, and my kids watched the entire video of this boring ass guy sitting there ranking all the Animal Crossing characters. I'm like, if he can do that. I'm going to see if I can rank my own NES games. I'll start with the black box games just to see what happens, and then I saw the success for it.
I'm going to rank every pixel in this game.
You could, yeah. All 240 of them.
Yeah,
that's right.
If you use that, just mention the dog.
So then that's what I started doing. And then when I started doing that, I was like, okay, cool. This is actually kind of working. I'll start, I'll rank all the Capcom games, the Konami games, just to still keep it retro, but just to do something kind of different for my channel. And then more and more people caught on, and then I was able to grow a little bit more from there. And but still go back to the open heart surgery stuff. I don't want to, not do those too. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can, so you can have kind of like little playlists, we call them buckets. It's like, here's my channel, it's me, but I rank video games. That's one thing, And then if you're watching that, maybe you'll watch another one, maybe you'll watch another one, maybe you'll watch another one. But maybe you're not into that, but I do open heart surgery. Maybe you'll want to watch another one, maybe you'll watch one, and hopefully they'll go down the rabbit hole of, it wouldn't make much sense to say, hey, I do this open heart surgery stuff. However, if you like breakfast cereal, that's kind of a weird jump.
Cereal?
I could rank breakfast cereal. And I thought about at least a future video idea is I think I'm going to rank like the video game based breakfast cereal, because there's Pac-Man, Donkey Kong,
absolutely,
Pokemon. So maybe down the line I'll do something like that. So it's still on brand, but it also has that cereal vibe to it.
Right. And so from going on YouTube and whatnot, through the whole COVID situation, did you notice a spike of viewership or subs during COVID, or was it just kind of...
I never really noticed much. It was during a time where I was also kind of growing a little bit more. I was started to study my analytics more. The analytics can tell you everything as far as, who's watching from where and when are they watching. It's like, oh, hey, they're all... sometimes I'll post a video late at night, but most of my viewers are watching earlier. So I'll post my video before they start watching, and I'll hopefully see an increase there.
Okay.
So there's certain little things like that when you look at your analytics and see, and different ones that do have different purposes. Where one of them might be, I'll get more views on this, which will get more people watching, maybe subscribing more. But on the flip side, one of them may not get as many views because people aren't clicking on it as much. But the people who are watching far longer. So so certain videos have like different purposes and everything.
Gotcha. And it seems like the thumbnail for videos is a very important thing.
Yeah, that's your movie title. That's like, it's, can you judge which show you want to watch on Netflix just based on that little thumbnail? It's click or not.
Now, what is John Riggs' recipe for the perfect thumbnail for a video?
As basic and as clean as possible. If you have too much text, if you have too many logos, too many graphics, it looks like NASCAR and your eyes don't even know where to go. It's like ad soup, and there's too much stuff. So just nice, clean, simple. I try to put my face in there more as here's a video from this guy.
Sure.
Not because I want to see my face every time I open my phone.
That seems to be a trend that's growing. I see lots of people's faces.
And reactions work. So when you see that stupid, dumbass YouTube face, the shocked face with the mouth open, agape and everything, oh my god, it works. I'm telling you, or my smile. I try to, I paid a lot of money for my teeth.
Can you give us like a John Riggs thumbnail face?
Oh, it'd be something like this. Get the camera ready. Ready? All right, here's a John Riggs face. I gotta get my hair all full.
Here we go.
I know. Try it.
There's always a point.
You saw it here.
There we go. I'll use that for the thumbnail too.
Fantastic. And is that just to get people to click, or does the YouTube algorithm somehow factor having people's faces in a...
I forgot the name of the service. It's something like Google Cloud, because YouTube's owned by Google. That's not a secret. I think it's Google Brain is what it's called. Okay. Google Brain will look at a thumbnail and they can analyze everything on there. Like they see a picture of me pointing to let's say, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
And the Google Brain will actually list like male, mid-30s to mid-40s, surprised. Then it'll Super Mario Brothers 3, yellow, because the box is yellow. It is that specific. So YouTube, that's why sometimes they're like, don't show a gun on YouTube, because the Google brain might say, oh, here's a gun, we better not show that to so many people. Things like that. I mean, and not that you're going to show a gun on there, but there are gun channels. There are channels that talk about, like, here are the best guns to use in Fortnite and stuff like that.
Sure.
So there's some things, I mean, and people still do that too, but there's some of those things to consider by nature of knowing that YouTube knows what to do. It's also why you don't need, sometimes I might put a word or two in the thumbnail, so long as it's different from the headline. It doesn't need to be the same thing, it's redundant. But there are some times where, like YouTube will understand what that is just by nature of what you say, because it auto-translates.
Sure.
By what it says with the Google Brain looking at the thumbnail and the headline. And especially the description. The description is one of the most underused. It's less about tags.
I was just going to ask that. Do tags matter, or what matters?
Barely.
Okay.
Honestly, barely. I've done videos that are super successful that I forgot to put tags in there at all. But people still find it by nature of they see it on the front page, they click on it, or YouTube says, oh, this is a video about retro gaming, so we want to push this to the other channels who watch Metal Jesus, who watch Angry Video Game Nerd. Maybe I will show up there too. It's like, oh, the person's already watching these channels, maybe he'll like this channel too. And YouTube wants to promote that, you know. But you have to want to give them a reason to promote it.
Okay, excellent. And through the years, since you've been YouTubing for a while, what's the biggest change from like the algorithm that you've noticed through the years? Has there been one, or has it just been a steady evolution and change?
It's always
trying to figure it out.
It's always changing. I'm always trying to figure it out. I mean, I'm always looking at the analytics to see what works, what doesn't. Sometimes.
Do you and your like YouTube buddies text each other, be like, "What the hell, man? Did they change this thing again?"
Every once in a while, yeah, every once in a while, just to find out, like, oh, I wonder why that video didn't do so well. But you can also look at the retention graph. And you can see there's always going to be like a steep drop because like the first 30 seconds is everything. You need that hook immediately.
Okay.
As soon as you go in there, you just got to say you almost need to explain, but without explaining it too much in detail. For those first 30 seconds is, you know, the thumbnail and the headline and the reason you clicked on it is 100% why you clicked on it, and it's not clickbait.
Gotcha.
You know, and then you try to get them to watch longer. The ranking videos, they want to see what's next, so that will watch a little longer. A convention video, I'll do a video from being here, and you might see it kind of drop a little bit, and then it might dip a little bit, and I'll see, oh, why did it dip? And then one of the dips might be, oh, because he went out to grab lunch, or something. And they're not interested in that. They just want to see what the convention looks like.
Sure.
You know, or something like. Or then sometimes I'll be surprised when
Do you personally email these people?
No.
Like, dude, why did you leave?
Why did you leave?
It was getting good.
The food was so good.
Right.
The cheese curds, I'm telling you. And sometimes you'll see a spike where it's like, well, sometimes a spike might mean like they're finding it, and just by nature of skimming through, they might say, oh, what's this weird thing? And they'll stop there, or something will happen and they'll rewind it to watch it again or stuff like that. So it's fun to see. It's interesting for me. Yeah.
With regard to sponsorship,
Yeah.
do you have to have a certain level of subscribers, viewers to be at least approached? Or when did you
You just have to have a
start?
if you have a strong business plan. I don't know him personally, but I have a friend of a friend who had a 6-figure endorsement, and they were just starting their YouTube channel because they knew the business plan of what they were going through.
Really?
and believed in it that much.
Okay.
Sometimes there will be.
Was that unsolicited, or did they?
They reach out to them.
Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to unsolicited, or when it comes to solicited rather, like people who reach out to me, they definitely use, either they search for it themselves, and many of them use programs. There's one, I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, only because I literally used to use it when I worked for another media company.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
But there's a program where people will, they can say, I'm looking for people who do video game content who have 10,000 subscribers. And then there'll be a list of them along with their email address that you can email directly and say, hey, here's your channel. I know you do video game stuff. We have a new controller if you want to test out. We'll send it to you one for free if you want to do the video on it. So some things like that, yeah, they'll use programs. They'll seek you out and they'll find you and everything. So
Sure. And once you obtain a sponsorship, I think we were talking the other night,
Right.
the sponsor has some creative or some say, or do they have overall say on the content of your video?
you need to step up front and say that they have zero say, because they're advertising on your. They found you. They're
Sure.
advertising on your channel, so they are not your channel. You need to keep your channel yours and not theirs. Now they can suggest, they can say, hey, would you talk about this thing? Mention these bullet points. That's usually fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. And then they do want to review it before it goes live in case you say the wrong thing, in case you use the wrong code or whatever. That's usually the standard. Is like, hey, please talk about our thing, but make sure you mention these bullet points. And then we'll give you a special referral link that might say, hey, people clicked on this video because people clicked on here because of your video, so they can track that too and see if it was successful or not. But yeah, anytime they say that things on your channel need to change, I decline probably 95% of sponsor.
I'm sorry, Manscaped, but it just ain't not worth it.
I did take that one only because I could say I want to talk about, because I could always spin a thing too. Like I wouldn't like the open heart surgery stuff, the ranking stuff. That's fine, but they also don't say I want to, unless they physically said I want to sponsor this specific type of video on your channel.
Sure.
That might be something different, but oftentimes they just want to be on your channel. They don't care what the video is. So I'll sometimes just make up a video just for the sponsor thing. So like for Manscaped, I was like, oh cool, I'll talk about different, like here's a beach volleyball game, here's here's dodgeball, for Manscaped. So he's like, here are the 5 best balls games for I talk with Manscaped,
Best
so it's like
lawn mowing games.
yeah, the best lawn mowing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's a great homebrew lawn mowing game. Yeah, you never know.
Ingenious, I tell
Yeah,
you.
and I sent it to them, and they're cool with it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, state your terms ahead of time before you.
Yeah, anytime they start to want to change your channel, it's not. And you also have to understand that people will 100% of the time. No, I say 100% of the time. People will want to skip over your videos. So you'll see like on your retention graph, like is it worth people leaving early or skipping ahead?
Oh, as I see the ad 5 countdown begin.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and with the phone, it's super easy. Just double tap. It goes 10 seconds ahead. And they'll just keep doing that until it gets to the video. You have to hopefully know that that's going to happen inevitably. Most people want the video at the beginning. You can say, I will only do it at the very end. Mm-hmm. And then and some people are just like, well, then I can't do it. No, it's fine.
Sure.
Not worth it.
Well, John, go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say, definitely noticing the ads on YouTube channels more and more.
Sure.
And yes, I am a skipper.
Everyone is. Absolutely. Yeah.
But you get it. I mean, free content. You need some support in some way. So
Right.
I never question it. So.
Yeah, I mean, like some channels are always sponsored by videos, some of them aren't, but there's always going to be the ads that pop up. If you're YouTube Premium, you never see them, which is a benefit. But then there's also, they kind of just throw those in every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes. And when it happens, you just click out of it and, just keep watching. Again, YouTube's free, but, someone's got to pay for it. And then even with those ads, not the sponsorships, because that goes straight to you, but like the advertising, Google AdSense, still, YouTube takes their like 40% or whatever. And, so they're making money on YouTube, but, that's why they want you to keep doing content.
Absolutely. Well, John, I think we've taken up enough of your time, but before we leave, if you could just give people like your overall top three suggestions, tips, tricks to kind of give yourself a leg up or, be as successful as you can.
The one tip that nobody does and is super, super helpful, and I don't know if I'm spoiling anything by saying this, is YouTube, like your YouTube homepage is based on your own viewing habits. I have a retro gaming channel, but when you look at my YouTube homepage, if I pulled it up right now, it would be old professional wrestling clips, and it would be cooking videos, because that's what I watch personally on YouTube. And a couple of, I might see a Scott the Woz, the new Metal Jesus video, I'll see those on there too. So really, if you want to start, like let's say a retro gaming channel, if you want to start a Minecraft channel, seriously, open up a second YouTube channel and do nothing but watch Minecraft content on there. And I promise after a few days, you'll start seeing new Minecraft channels in your homepage that you've never even heard of before. And I did it for my retro gaming channel, and I started seeing retro gaming content from other YouTubers. I've never heard of them before ever. But they have these great channels, but they're not part of the normal circles. I don't meet them at conventions. They happen to have YouTube channels, but not part of the other circles I run around with. So I was starting to see like these other great channels, like, oh, perfect. And the idea in doing that is not just to find these other cool channels that you can watch, but then you can find other channels that maybe you didn't know existed and see what they're doing and why are they so successful and why are they getting the views they have. I mean, some of them might have, tens of thousands of views, but they only have like 1,000 subscribers. They're doing something right. So you gotta start taking notes. It's like, well, what are they doing, and how can I be a part of that too?
Yeah. Excellent.
So that's kind of my number one thing. But the other ones are just, thumbnail and title is everything. If you don't have that, no one's gonna click on your video. So it doesn't matter how good your video is. You gotta have the thumbnail, gotta have the title, brief, to the point. Even if it's as simple as a screenshot of the game and your surprised face, or if it's having a couple of words in there is not a bad thing. It really isn't. But
Sure.
yeah, whatever works.
Should the title be like clickbaity? The question, like, oh my god, I can't believe this NES game.
Of course, sometimes.
It does make sense. Yeah, every once in a while, sure. Yeah, I've done that before. And sometimes it's okay to spoil it, because sometimes I'll be like, here are the 5 best games for this, and I'll spoil one of the games in the thumbnail. So they say, okay, well, if that's on there, what else is on there? And they almost want you almost want them to watch to hopefully either agree or disagree with you. Because I mean, I get people who agree and disagree all the time, especially in my ranking videos. So it's like Contra, you gave Contra a C, a B, you know. And it's like, well, you know, it's just, it could have been better. Whatever.
That could be probably a whole other video in itself, dealing with comments.
Oh,
and,
sure.
The community.
Yeah,
right?
but that's part of the engagement. Then it gives me a reason to comment back and everything. And sometimes, and every once in a while, you'll get, yeah, that's right. You know, I agree with you too. I've been saying that for years. And you know, you love those people for sure.
Sure.
And the other part of it is, man, I mean, the biggest tip literally is, without just saying just do it. I mean, I hit. I'm not kidding when I say this. I hit 100,000 subscribers using just my phone, sitting in my kitchen. You know, you don't need the best camera. You don't need the best. I'm sitting in my kitchen because that's where the best lighting is in my whole house. I'm sitting in there because. So I mean,
it's a nice kitchen too.
Well, I mean, you should see the other side. Not so much. There's a pile of dishes in the sink at any given time. It's terrible.
Right.
Next time, use that.
Yeah, that'll be my background. No, because then I'll get CPS knocking on my door. And the TV show Hoarders saying, "Hey, can we film you while you're?"
Right.
No, it just lighting is everything. Audio is everything. It's literally my Pixel 3. I don't even have a 6. I don't even have the 4 or 5. I mean, the 6 just came out. I'm still using my Pixel 3 for
Got
almost.
that vintage sound.
It really is, yeah. But that's all you
Videos
need.
in sepia tones.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I mean, I use a MacBook because iMovie is free. You know, so I just do it on the download and the super. I'm efficiently cheap.
I was gonna say, what is the average turnaround time on a ranking video?
You know, I can have one pumped out in a day easy.
Okay.
But I usually try to do some in advance, and that's when you do like the batch shooting, where it's like I do all my own footage. So I'll get all my own footage first, and then I'll have that, and then that's when I can look through my own footage, so I remember what I recorded, so I can talk about that specifically. And then just do the screenshots and all. And I just talk into a camera, and I mean, some people script. I don't script anything. You know, I might have bullet points, but other than that, I just start talking and rambling and just edit it all together. Call it good.
Well, you do a great job, sir.
I know, it's fun for me, and it gives me the chance to give you a reason to come out to stuff like this. You know, so
yeah, and it's great to actually meet you in person and have you in the great state of Wisconsin.
I know. More cheese curds. More. We went to a place a little bit ago that had it was a beef and like it wasn't even like cheddar. It was like cheddar sauce on a pretzel bun. It was super good. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
I'm gaining 5 pounds by the time.
We're gonna look forward to the cheese curd ranking video.
That's right.
Back, please.
That's true. Moe's ranks pretty high, but there's some other places in Milwaukee. I haven't done yet. I'm leaving tomorrow night, so there's still time. There's still cheese curd opportunities out there for John Riggs here.
Absolutely. And John, finally, where can people get a hold of you? Even though we just talked 40 minutes about your YouTube channel.
No, my YouTube channel, it's funny, I've gone through so many changes. At first it was Rigstalgic, that was the name of my channel. And then it was, when I started seeing more hits on video games and breakfast cereal, I literally changed my YouTube name to Video Games and Breakfast Cereal. That was the name of my channel for about 6 months.
There you go.
And
get what you get.
When I started hacking games, that's when it became Rigged Games. It was that for the longest. But at the end of the day, it's just me. So my name and my YouTube channel is literally my name. It's just John Riggs, JOHNRIGGS. And then at John Blue Riggs, the color blue. I used to have blue hair in high school. Don't have a whole lot of hair on top of my head anymore for that, but
we get it.
Yeah, it was the screen name that worked for me for however long. So yeah, John Blue Riggs on all social media.
Excellent. And we've been here at the Dogcast. You can get a hold of us.
Yeah, man.
On Twitter at HotDogcast, and subscribe to us on podcast services everywhere. All of a sudden, cannot speak.
Facebook, do all that.
Oh yeah. I'll be back on there. You provide the beer, I'll be back on there.
All right, yeah, that's what we do.
Easy.
And if any of you guys have any cereal or ice cream leads, please give it to this.
There we go, yeah.
From the area.
I mean,
there it is, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, John. And thank you guys for being part of the bonus stage and watching us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yes, we'll be back at 15 minutes with Premium
Thank
Edition
you, John
Games.
Riggs.
We'll do a panel
We had a
on
great
publishing
time watching
games
you. Much love
on
from
the
Detroit.
Switch. We'll do a deep delve in deep.
Ooh, looking forward to that.
Peeling back the curtain.